Anyway, now
Okay,
this, this is different. No, something else came up here now, Mara.
Well, we are now live, Ted, so you can say hello to
I might be giving people a
YouTube.
lesson here, so.
Hello, YouTube. We have one viewer. Hello, viewer. Nice to see somebody actually watching. And Ted, I wouldn't worry about your background.
Yeah, we're not going to worry about it now. I think I got what you were talking about. All right.
Yep. Okay. Well, it's up to you. You can leave it if you like. Okay, so right, I've got all this to do. I'm not quite ready. We'll be in a few seconds.
Take your time now.
Here we go. Right, let's go back to, oops. I just realised that because you haven't been here for so long, Ted, I've got me instead of you. So I need to bring you back. There we go.
Me.
Now it says Ted, which means I have to just save on all the other screens, but I'll do that later. That's okay. Okay. We are just about ready. Right, I need to stop listening on my headphone because it's very distracting. Okay. Error opening device. Yeah, okay. Roadcaster Pro. No, we shouldn't have error opening device, surely. Error opening device. Oh dear, we seem to have a rescan audio devices. Okay, can I have a 1-2 from you, please, Ted?
1-2, 1-2.
Okay, Paul. Where's Paul?
1-2, 1-2.
Oh, there you are. Okay. That is good. Okay, are you ready, Ted? Are you ready, Ted? 3, 2.
Sorry, probably am on mute. I am ready.
Okay, mind your microphone, Ted, when you move papers around. I heard all that. Are we ready to go? 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, Toastmasters, would-be Toastmasters, listeners and friends. You're very welcome to the talk show for talkers on irishtalkers.com. Our email address is info@irishtalkers.com. You can also find us on Facebook as the Talk Show for Talkers. We welcome your comments, your questions, your feedback. In fact, this we regard as evaluations of what you're listening and looking at. Please get in touch. You can also listen to previous shows on our website, irishtalkers.com. We also publish the Public Speaking Weekly, and this is a roundup of links from the internet. It's all about Toastmasters, public speaking, confidence, leadership, everything you want to know as a Toastmaster. So look out for the newspaper link on our website. My name is Ted Malamphy, and I am joined again, and I'm delighted to be back because I've been in absentia for quite a while. I'm joined by the prolific, persuasive, passionate Paul O'Malley.
Welcome, listeners. Thank you for tuning in again. I hope you're going to enjoy this episode.
Thank you, Paul. And on today's show, I'm going to go back to the original script. We are going to have the usual mix. We will have a thought for the week. I'll be giving that shortly. We'll have a word for the week. We have an interview in episode 2, which is an interesting one, but I'm going to wait until episode 2 is going out to let you know who the guest is. So I'm going to keep you on tender hooks for a while. So Paul will be giving us the word for the week. I will be giving you the thought for the week, and my thought for this week is today is an opportunity. I'm just going to check that to make sure I have the right opportunity that I'm talking about. I'll have to check my journal. Sorry about that, folks.
Is this a burst of humor? That was your quotation. It obviously came from somebody who none of us have ever heard of. And you're not checking which particular translation from the Aramaic you're going to use. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think you're bang on, Paul. I'm just looking for it here because I know I had it up, but unfortunately what I had up is after vanishing on me.
Are you actually saying that what you have in front of you now is the first 3 words of a 20-word sentence?
Ted, would you like me to prompt you?
I think you've given us...
The quote is, "Today is an opportunity to get better," from John Eads.
No, thank you, Moira. Today is an opportunity to get better.
Now, Paul, Ted, you have to pause now before you repeat it.
That was actually given to us.
Wait, Ted, because I need to have a marker to edit it.
Oh, sorry.
So pause, right?
Yeah.
Now go.
Today is an opportunity to get better. Today is an opportunity to get better. And that's a quotation from John Eads, who is a well-known business coach in America. So think about that. It's not a long piece to remember. Today is an opportunity to get better. So you'll always have it today when you get up in the morning. Use it as an opportunity to improve, and everything around you will improve with you. So that's my quotation, Paul. John Eads. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the gentleman or not.
Well, I would say that phrase was used by an awful lot of people. It reminds me of Toastmasters International. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders, which could be translated as we empower individuals to become better communicators and leaders. And it could also be said, today is an opportunity to become a better communicator and leader.
Well said, actually. Yeah.
I think it's a handy phrase to talk about today being an opportunity, just as every club meeting is an opportunity, but also every time you go out into the street and see somebody and talk to them is an opportunity to get better at communicating, isn't it?
Boy, I have to agree with you. You're bang on. That's exactly what it is, and that's what makes it nice and easy, that it fits in with so many other idioms or nice sayings that were given to us, so it's perfect. And I'm going to ask you now, Paul, I know that you have a beautiful word of the day, as you normally do have. Would you like to share that with us now, since you helped me with my explanation of my thought for the week?
Well, the word, listeners, that I have for you this week is relish. I'll spell it for you. R-E-L-I-S-H. Ted, this is a word you're familiar with already. I'm just telling the listeners that you already know it. But I'd like you to make a good guess now, Ted. When did the word relish enter the English language?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a good guess, relish.
Right.
I haven't said what it means, and I haven't said whether it's a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb. But when do you think it came into the English language first?
I'd say that came in about the 14th or 15th century.
Very
things. We use a different meaning.
Very close, but of course, wide mark, but still a very good guess. It came in 1560 when it was first used as a word to describe a sauce.
Right.
Something that's made with pickles. So relish is something you put on food. But that's not why I have made it our word of the week, listeners. I made it word of the week this week because after you've heard somebody do something, you're called on in Toastmasters to give a bit of feedback to that person. So it's a handy word in order to express how much you liked what the person did, how much you delighted in it, how much you appreciated it. You could say something like, I relished the way you began to communicate with us on that topic. It means that you delighted on it. You loved it. It enthralled you. And the word relish would wake up the entire room at a Toastmasters meeting, because many, many people would be expecting you to say, I liked your speech. I loved your speech. I thought your speech was great. There was something about your speech that was good. And you say, I relished the way in which you took a running jump into the topic. That is the kind of language in Toastmasters, I think, Ted, that would delight, indeed cause a grammarian to feel that they were already consuming something that had relish on it.
And I relished the opportunity to get better today, Paul.
You did, you see. You welcomed the opportunity, but better than welcome is you relished, because it has a little bit of extra lift to it, doesn't it?
It does. It has a little bit of relish in it, because that's what I was making. I was making that point when you gave us the word, the two different meanings of it. But it's a lovely word to use, and relish is uplifting for a grammarian.
Now, if I'm on the receiving end of an evaluation, and at some point in the evaluation, the speaker who wants to tell me I did something well in his or her opinion uses the word, the verb, I relished, I'm going to feel more pleased than I would be if they said, I liked, I loved, I thought that was great, and all those fairly insipid remarks that are meant genuinely to motivate people, but fall a little bit short of the mark.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that sounds very nice. Relish is the word of the week, folks. And today is an opportunity to get better. That's the thought of the week. And in episode 3 today, because I told you we're having an interview in episode 2, but in episode 3, Paul and I will be discussing succession planning with our clubs, because it's around this time of the year that we discuss such topics to make sure that we get people enthused and hopefully make up their minds about putting their names forward for committee and for area, for division, for district even.
Oh,
so
Ted,
that's what succession planning. Sorry, Paul.
We have a big misunderstanding here. I was going to talk about the TV show. Succession. I'll be talking in episode 3 about Succession. So I look forward to having a chance to communicate about Succession in episode.
Well done. You'll have to send on that TV show. What channel is it on? I didn't look at that. There must be loads of information there for me that we can apply in Toastmasters.
Succession is one of the most successful TV shows available on the internet.
Is it? Oh, that's interesting. That will tell you how far behind I am when it comes to TV, and internet is something I try to keep away from. So well done on that.
I have assumed that you've stopped. I carried on recording that last bit. I'll review it. It may be leavable in, or I may cut it out.
Yeah, no, that's okay, Mara, because I wasn't sure whether we were supposed to stop or not.
Did you not see the red light, Ted?
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry about that. I hadn't even imagined we were up to the red light. That's my fault, Paul.
Well, I only put it
you're
up.
You're looking at a laptop. You are?
I am.
Yeah, okay, because Myra put on the red light.
Yeah, what happened was I'm looking at it in a small tile because I had WhatsApp open as well. That could have been the reason. I'm going to go into full screen now. Sorry about that. That's possibly why I missed that.
No problem.
Sorry about that, Mara.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. It's,
But I'd have to pin the timer, would I?
what?
No, she just read.
Just use
Okay.
Use gallery view, and then you'll see.
Gallery view?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you'll see everything.
Yeah, that's right. I'm in gallery view now, Mara.
Okay, so
Flash on the red light there, so
you're going to see
and
everything
I see
anyway.
what I'm watching for.
So if I put the red light on, which is not actually working the way it's supposed to. Oh, now it is. There you go. Can you see that, Ted?
But Paul saw it anyway, so we know it's working.
Can you see it? Ted, are you seeing the light?
Oh, I can see the green. Oh, all right. I can see green.
Now.
Okay.
Very good. I can see it now, Myra. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we actually want the red one, I think, don't we, Ted?
Yeah, you needn't give us the countdown at all. The red one is grand because we'll waffle on for another couple of seconds and we can stop it then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's grand, Myra. Just the red
Okay.
will do.
That's fine.
Perfect.
That's fine. Right, that was
So
a
tease
little
up
bit
there for
short.
episode 2, so and I'll call Dan in. Is there anything in particular you want me to say about this, Paul? Or will I just reflect back and say that we think it's a nice idea that we should get to listen to our... What is he called? Is he called the Chief Executive?
He's the Chief Executive
He's
Officer.
he's the CEO of Toastmasters.
Chief Executive Officer, so right. Okay.
But Ted, speak as if you're talking to somebody who has never... I mean, for the most part, it'll be listened to by somebody who's never listened to it before.
Yes.
So it's not about listening to it. You know, it's a rebroadcast of an interview you did in what year?
2018.
2015, I think.
2018.
Are you sure?
Oh, it was 18, was it? God. Oh, it isn't so far back, so... Sorry, Paul. It was only 18, yeah.
Why have I still got red on? Get rid of that.
I am sure you'll do it great.
Rid of it.
I'm sure you'll do it great. So all we need is a couple of sentences from Ted. Is that right, Moira?
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted.
And now we're going to do an outro as well then, Mara, yeah?
I think so. Well, you need to reintroduce the next episode.
Yes.
And just
right.
as a
and
matter-
as well as that then, are we going to use...
Ted, just as a matter
Sorry?
of form, at the end of the first episode, I would suggest that you, normally, when we have an interview, you would introduce that interviewee at the end of the first episode, not leaving them,
Okay.
because we want them to come back and listen. We don't, we don't. If you say we have an interview, but I'm not going to tell you, people might just say, "Well, I won't bother to come back and listen."
Yeah, well, I thought that brings them back faster when they want to come on to see who it is.
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, point taken.
Yeah. My opinion. I mean, I'm open to argument, but
Yeah, no, the point is taken, Mara.
okay. Are you ready, Teddy? Ted, are you ready?
I'm ready, steady, Teddy.
Okay.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome, Toastmasters, would-be Toastmasters listeners and friends, to episode 2 of this week's Talk Show for Talkers. I mentioned yesterday in episode 1 that we had a guest. Well, this is a recording that we did back in 2018, and it was such a privilege for me to have the pleasure to sit down with this gentleman and interview him about Toastmasters, because this gentleman is still in the position that he was in 2018. And I don't mean the chair he was sitting on. I mean the position that he holds within the Toastmasters world, and particularly in Toastmasters International, because this gentleman is none other than our chief or our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Daniel Rex. So I know you're going to relish this opportunity of listening to the beautiful words of Daniel Rex. I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm a supreme optimist, aren't I? Are we going to listen to it, or are we just going to go on to 3? Sorry about that. Okay. I thought I heard that coming through on some of your words there. Actually, they became a bit warbly. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to listen to Daniel. So I get the outro. So yeah. And that was an interview that I conducted with the chief executive back in 2018. I hope you took something out of that. It was certainly a great pleasure for me, and I hope that I'll have the opportunity again to sit down with our chief executive officer and chat about everything about Toastmasters, and particularly the talk show for talkers. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, I didn't realise that. No, Mara. Sorry about that. Sure, if you like, I'll do the whole lot again. So, yeah, but would it be better if I said it over the air as well? Yeah, I think I saw that. I didn't understand that when I saw it, actually. Sorry, Mara, what did you say?
Sorry, I was.
Yeah, Mara, if you wish to bring me back in, and I'll say that.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted there. I think. I don't know. Let me just check my audio.
All right, no worries.
But I have got the audio. Yeah, I have. Yeah. Did you not hear? Did you hear? Was I talking? Did you hear me talking? No, because I had my microphone muted. So
About what?
no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Are you
Oh, I
ready?
heard you talking. Yeah, and what I said to you, did you hear me? What I said is, if you wish, I'll do the outro again,
Yes, I heard
including
you.
the stuff that you
I
just said to
heard
me.
you. I heard you. But
Oh, sorry.
as my microphone
yeah.
was muted, I was just a bit puzzled as to how you could hear me. Select a microphone. Where's the...
Oh, I see. Yeah, when I'm looking at you here, I thought I was looking at a live picture, but well, when I say live, I mean you in person. But I'm looking at a picture, is it?
Oh, I see why. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's bad news. That means that's going over the... I've got my wrong microphone attached. Where the fuck is it? Roadcaster.
All right,
That's better.
because
You
you're coming
shouldn't...
through as a picture rather than the
No?
real Mara O'Brien.
Well, that's me. I'm moving. And I've got good bandwidth.
Well, you're not moving where I'm looking from.
Well, doesn't really matter. because I don't
your
really,
stationery
I
is
don't
like
really
the photograph
want
I'm
to be on
looking at.
screen.
The sepia.
Okay, Ted. I'll call you in then. Actually, I can kill that now because I don't need that.
Okay.
Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
I hope you enjoyed listening to the words of our chief executive, Daniel Rex, and that was from an interview back in 2018. Now, what we have for you is that in Monday's episode 4, you'll get the concluding part of that interview. And tomorrow, we're going to have one of our leaders here in District 71, and this gentleman is the co-presenter of the talk show for talkers, Paul O'Mahony. So we'll be listening to Paul's dulcet words in tomorrow's episode 3, all about succession planning.
Okay, doke. All right. Dum. Oh, Paul's back. I was just going to say, I don't know where Paul is.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Actually, that was a good idea to use the second part of the interview in episode 4, but I didn't understand that when I saw it on the WhatsApp. But it's eminently sensible to do it that way.
Well, I understood. I realised that you were getting thoroughly confused.
I was.
I was talking about part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
And you took that as episode 1 and episode 2, which is...
Yes, that's what happened, actually. But I hope I clarified when I came back to you that she understood what I was confused about.
I think so.
It's amazing when you're away for a while how you can't pick up the reins just as easily as you did before, you know?
Ted,
but
it's old age.
Back, lads.
I keep on telling you it's old age. Wait till you get to my age, then you'll really be... I don't know why I have unstable internet. Most peculiar. Got good bandwidth and yet it tells me it's unstable. I don't care. Tough.
Yeah, because sometimes your picture comes in more as a picture rather than you, but it is actually you.
Yeah, there we are. Paul, are you ready? Are you prepared?
So when we're going to... I'll introduce Paul for episode 3.
Yep. Okay, so... Ted, do watch the word "and." You really must. Yes. You need to expunge it from your vocabulary.
Well, I didn't even know I was using the word "and."
Yeah, you do.
Have to send me on a recording.
You do consistently, from sentence to sentence to sentence.
Do I? I didn't. Yeah. I didn't realise that. No,
I know because you don't listen to yourself.
To watch that.
You don't listen to yourself.
Just, I don't want to say anything live on air, but is this going out live on air?
It is.
Yeah, or that may go out in future. Ted, I'll send you a message in the chat. That won't go out. I just want to give you, I was at counter recently at a meeting.
I know I was at it. I was wondering who you were referring to when you named everybody in the meeting. Bear me, so it was...
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Actually, there was something I was intrigued. About, Mara. I was full sure that I had given the salutation to the Toastmaster.
I'm not sure on that, Ted.
In my speech the other night.
Not sure on that.
Al said I hadn't.
No, I'd have to listen.
Can you send on the recording of my speech if you don't mind?
Well, Paul has it.
I'll do it, Ted.
Paul will cut it out for you.
Can I do that now too, Paul? Oh, sure, that's great. Thanks very much.
Okay, folks, let's press on.
Thanks, Paul.
There, Ted. Counter.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Sorry, Paul. I'm not sure what was happening there, but your words were not coming over. Can you give me a...
Yeah, I saw them. They came up all right.
They came up all right for you, not for me. So in which case I'm going to...
Yeah. And Maury, you're after going back into a picture, no?
Okay, record.
I think, Ted, I think Moira's talking about sound.
Yeah, I'm not worried about...
Moira's sound isn't great either.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
No,
Recording in progress.
But what does matter is that we get your audio well. So I'm recording this to the cloud as well.
Okay.
So that I get a clean recording. Okay, Paul, ready? Ted, introduce Paul. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I'm ready to introduce Paul, yeah.
Okay, I'll give you another 3, 2, 1 then.
Toastmasters, would-be Toastmasters,
Ted,
listeners and friends.
Ted,
this
stop.
Is episode...
Sorry, Ted, I gave you a 3, 2, 1 and you didn't start. You said you were ready to start. Okay, 3, 2...
I did start.
Yeah, but I'd already started recording after I said 3, 2, 1, go. And you went in with I'm ready or something, okay? 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
Not okay.
Welcome, Toastmasters, would-be Toastmasters, listeners and friends, to the third episode of this week's talk show for talkers. And the person who will be doing the talking, well, I hope I'll be doing some talking too, but the main person in this conversation is Mr. Paul O'Mahony. Take it away, Paul.
Let's talk about succession, listeners. Are you watching it? It's, I think, in season 4 now. And when it began, season 1, I think it was about 500,000 people watched the very first episode. Such an important topic, succession. And today I want to talk to you about succession planning. Now, when you're planning a TV show, actually, hold on. I think I've got the wrong script. Let me talk to you about when you're planning succession in a Toastmasters club. We come back to TV later. So Toastmasters club, succession planning and continuity planning. That's what I want to encourage you to think about today. First of all, let's consider continuity. How important is continuity in Toastmasters? In your own club, is it important to have some continuity of members? Not turn over all the members every year. Is it good to have experienced members in your club? Okay, rhetorical question. Secondly, what about on your club leadership team? Is it good to have some continuity on your club leadership team? Yes, of course it is, except in the few occasions when it's best to completely wipe the slate clean and start because the previous club committee were, let us say, a little disappointing. However, let's say that about your club wants some continuity. It doesn't want the whole committee to not run again. However, do you want them all to be on your club committee the following year? Would your club be much better if there was never any new blood coming into the club or going on to the club leadership? Would your club be more likely to become President's Distinguished if it never got any new members? If it never got any new leaders? No, of course not. Why on earth do you need to have succession planning? It is because continuity sucks if that's the only thing that you do. So, meaning as a consequence of me saying what I said before, any organization needs to plan ahead if it's going to succeed. It needs 3 things. It needs new ideas, it needs energy, and it needs creativity. The committee in the club needs to be refreshed every year. So some new people need to come in. Some people need to change roles within the club, don't they? You don't want everyone to be doing the same job as they were doing last year. 1 or 2 perhaps, but you don't want them all stuck in the same place. In fact, you're not even allowed to have the same president every, 2 years in a row. There are the rules, by the way, in case you don't know the rules. let's go back then to the question of succession planning. Who's going to be new into your club leadership team next year? Who thinks about this in the club? Well, we all know the only people who think ahead about who will be our club leaders next year is the club president and the sergeant at arms. None of the others ever think about it, do they? No, again, it's a form of humor. Ideally, your club committee will have already been thinking about where are we going to get new blood into the leadership of the club. How do you get them? Well, one way of trying to get new people to stand for election in the club is to make an announcement that there will be club elections coming up in the month of April or May or June, and anyone who'd like to stand for election is very welcome. And that announcement is made at a club meeting, and the club has done its duty, hasn't it? Isn't that quite enough? Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. I listened to Morag Matheson, who next year will be our international president-elect. And she was talking in District 71 recently at a session about leadership for next year. And the way she framed her contribution was to tell her own story about how she became a leader. And, you know, by the time she'd finished, she'd been encouraged by other people who'd seen something in her several times. So many times that when I asked her, or when she was asked by the chat monitor, you know, how long would it have taken you to reach your current position if nobody had asked you to step up to the next level? She said probably quite a lot longer. Do you wait until somebody puts themselves forward, or do you approach them and say, hey, Ted, I think that new member, Moira O'Brien, who joined last month, I think, you know what, I think she's got leadership potential and she seems very interested in Toastmasters. Let's keep an eye on her, shall we, Ted? Oh, no, Paul. No favoritism. No, not at all. She hasn't been in Toastmasters long enough. Give her 5 years and then we'll see if she stays here long enough to be Sergeant at Arms. They don't have much to do anyway. So we'll make her Sergeant at Arms in 5 years' time, Paul, okay? I ask you, is this the life of Brian? No. Again, the point is that the earlier you are interested in who's going to lead your club. I've said enough about club leadership. Let's just talk about becoming the area director. Whose job is it to think about who will be the area director next year? Well, I'll tell you, it's this year's area director. Whose job is it to think about who might be assistant area directors next year? Tell you who it is. It's the area director. Whose job is it to think about who will be division director next year? It's this year's division director. Whose job is it to think about who could be assistant division directors next year? It's this year's division director. I remember a wonderful region advisor called JAP. Roger Felt, I've mangled his surname, but he's from the Netherlands, and he ran a training workshop or a training session a couple of years ago. And he asked the question, said, what's the number one responsibility of leaders? And of course, everybody thought about the topic, but he submitted for our consideration the view that it's the number one responsibility of leaders is to bring on the next generation of leaders. The next generation of leaders in Toastmasters is next year's committee, isn't it? That's the way we think about it. So bringing people on, succession. Well, if you wait until somebody puts their name forward to be on your club committee, you're going to miss a lot of good people. You should draw up a list. This is my tip, my advice. First of all, appoint a committee leader of who's going to conduct the election next year. And that committee considers all the people in the club without waiting for them to apply, and draws up a short list of people who they think would be very good to be on the club committee next year. And then they approach those people and they say, we think you'd be a suitable person. We have been talking about you. We've noticed your commitment. We've noticed your skills. We know outside Toastmasters, actually, you have quite a responsible job. And being in our committee might help you. You know, you're in a employment situation. You've never yet been a committee member in a voluntary organization. It's a different set of skills. How would you like to do that? Enough said. Ted, you've become a brand leader in Toastmasters in the, 45 years you've been a member. During that time, did anyone come to you and say, Ted, I see something in you. I think you're the person to give us some leadership next year. Did anybody actually do that to you?
Oh, yes, Paul, definitely. That's exactly the way it was done. Maybe not as eloquently as the way you just put it, but people will always see things in people that the people themselves can't see in themselves.
Ted, at the risk, since it's a very good thing the person's done, who was the person who tapped you on the shoulder and said, in whatever way they did say, we think you're the leader for us?
Well, it was one of the outgoing presidents back in 2008 when I joined. I think 6 months into my career as a Toastmaster, succession planning came up, and she approached me and she said, would you like to come on the committee as the one you mentioned, Paul, Sergeant at Arms? And I did.
You see,
and I was in that role for 3 years, believe it or not.
Listeners, what a great case study. In your own club, there are people who are waiting to be approached in the way Ted was approached and the way Morag Matheson was approached. And you know what? We're now in January. Okay, you should have approached them back in November. Don't worry, don't beat yourself up. Before the end of January, we're talking to people. Succession planning in Toastmasters. Meanwhile, Succession Series 4, it's on at the moment.
Well done, Paul. You got in a lovely plug for that TV show. Well done. And well done on your soliloquy there, actually, on succession planning. I was relishing to get in, but you were in a smooth flow, so I said I'd let it go. So thank you very much for your thoughts and that. Wonderful advice. So come back tomorrow, Toastmasters and would-be Toastmasters, where you'll get the concluding part of our conversation with Daniel Rex. So see you then.
Excellent, Ted. Excellent. We really should do a bonus track, which is that when we have a great conversation like that and you haven't been able to get in, we record a special extra bonus, which is, now, Ted, I didn't give you a chance to talk. Tell us more about success.
Yeah.
Now, which episode did you like best?
No, that was superb. Your piece about Succession, and I love the way you used the show Succession, which I hadn't heard about. Yeah. But I can get it on Netflix, can I? If I wanted to.
Yeah, you can. By the way, I'll tell you something. Just between you and me, Maura, close your ears. I thought it was awful.
Recording stopped.
I saw the first 3 episodes maybe, and the characters in it were so dislikable. I didn't find one person I liked. And that's the point about the show. It's deliberately written so that you won't like anyone in it. And that actually why it succeeds. I believe it's brilliant. I'm not saying it isn't. All I'm saying is that I didn't like anyone in it. And I thought, why do I want to see this person?
And I'd give up. No, I'd give up. I wouldn't even last 3 episodes if that was the case.
But you see, you might think some of these people are really very good and honourable. You should try it.
Yeah.
You might be the exception.
And what episode are you into now?
I'm not watching it.
Oh, you're not watching it, okay.
But
you just heard it's very good, like.
No, I know. Look, I know about it. I know people who recommend it.
Okay.
Fantastic and everything.
Right.
I did my research about how many people watched it. 1.4 million watched the start of season 3. It's one of the most. It has won awards, Emmys, and all those things.
But 1.4 million wouldn't be regarded as a lot of people to watch a TV show, would it? Worldwide, like? Well, are you just referring to Ireland?
All I know, 1.4 million to watch the first episode. Now, it's not like the Late Late Toy Show, which comes on once a year.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But anyway, it got 98%, I think, rating on Rotten Tomato. Rotten Tomato is a place where it rates.
Right. It's a place you wouldn't like to be rated.
Well, if you get 98%, that's really very high.
Does that mean you're rotten or you're excellent?
Oh, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
No, it does mean you're excellent, actually.
Oh, does it? All right.
Oh, it's terribly successful as a show, and
very good.
How
many episodes have been done so far?
Well, they're in season 4, so God knows. I could look it up, all right, but I don't.
No, that's okay. That's enough. If they're in season 4, and if there's 10 episodes in each one, like that should have sparkly bloody shows.
Yeah, it's incredibly successful, really.
Right.
Here we are. So I guess you were going to have to do an outro to Dan, an intro and an outro to Dan Drex, aren't you?
I will. I'll do an intro and an outro now to Dan.
Yep, good idea.
So when Maura is ready, she'll give us.
Sure. I was forgetting you're going to have to do that. I was failing in my
short to do, lads.
Failing in my duty. Right. Intro, Ted. 3, 2, 1.
No, you're okay. We were chatting away there.
Intro, Ted. 3, 2, 1, go.
And I hope, and as mentioned yesterday, Toastmasters, would-be Toastmasters listeners and friends, we're going to spread a little relish on the talk show for talkers this week, because we're giving you the second part of the interview that you heard on Saturday with Mr. Daniel Rex, the CEO of Toastmasters International. So this will help you to pick up the thread of what you listened to 2 days ago. I hope you enjoy this, and we'll chat again at the end of it.
You shouldn't be laughing. Laughing at yourself.
I do a lot of that these
days. At least give
actually.
A pause before you laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
I could see your brain going into gear or trying to get into gear at the beginning of that and failing miserably.
Well done. Well done.
Okay,
so
Ted.
If you want me to do the outro, no more.
Yes, please.
Take out of my brain what I should say and give it to me.
Yeah. Right, outro. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, Toastmasters, would-be Toastmasters listeners and friends, that was the conclusion of this week's talk show for talkers. I hope you got some value out of it, and we would be delighted if you sent us an evaluation, if you sent us a point that you would like to make, if you sent us a request of something you would like to listen to, and we would be delighted to take that on board. So until next week, it's goodbye from me, Ted Malamphy.
And thank you very much, listeners. Hopefully, you have gained something from listening to this episode.
Thank you, Paul. And we'd like to thank Maura O'Brien as well. That's the person who makes sure you can hear and see everything that goes out on the Talk Show for Talkers. Until next week, bye.
Okay, folks.
Well done. You're not still recording, no, Maura, are you?
No, and we are still on YouTube, but I'm about to say goodbye.